In this part of the lesson, we will be looking at how demonstratives are being used specifically as a pronoun, which means that in the sentence it will be replacing the noun rather than describing it. When we use a demonstrative as a pronoun, we simply refer to another noun that is somewhere in the sentence, either in a previous sentence or within the same sentence. If we look at these two examples in English, we can see that the demonstrative pronouns these and those are used to refer to an item that is either in the previous sentence or one that is located closely to it. In the first example, what kind of flowers are these? The these is referring to flowers. I simply find no need to say the word flowers again, but I can refer to them by using the word these. And the same is true as we move forward and look at the word those. In the second example, in the first sentence, I am talking about many students, and I refer to those students simply by using the pronoun these in the next sentence. When we use English, it is our sense of what is going on in the sentence and context that helps us to understand what the demonstrative is pointing to or referring to. In Latin, however, because we are dealing with inflections, we'll have to remember that the demonstrative is going to have the same gender and number as the noun that it is referring to. Its case may or may not be the same. That will depend on how it is used in its own part of the sentence. Let's take a look at some examples. Auxilium illarum urbem servavit. If I look at the specific form of the demonstrative illarum, I see that it is in the genitive plural and that no other nouns in this sentence are in the genitive plural. This is how I know that this particular demonstrative is being used like a pronoun. In the absence of context, I need to rely on the gender of the ending for the demonstrative, which is aurum and is feminine, to help me understand what this word is referring to. It's referring to women because it is in the feminine plural form. So when I translate the sentence, I can actually translate it by adding the word women into the sentence. The help of those women saved the city. The reason I can do this is because the aurum is specifically talking about women. If this were in a paragraph and there were a larger context and I had the word woman in a previous sentence, what I might say instead is their help saved the city, understanding that I am referring to the women who are in the previous sentence. Legatus malum nuntium nobis neravit. The envoy or messenger told us nobis malum nuntium, bad news. Incipiebam lacrimara, I began to cry, ubi, when, hunc audivi, when I heard this, or even I could say, when I heard it. Hunc, you'll notice, is masculine, accusative, and singular. The reason it's accusative is because I need a direct object after I heard, and therefore hunc, which serves as the direct object, must be in the accusative case. It is masculine and singular because it is referring to one of the masculine and singular nouns in the sentence, either legatus or nuntium. I began to cry when I heard him, if I wanted to refer to the legatus, would indicate that there is something about the messenger that is making me cry. But if I refer to the news, it, then I am indicating that the news itself and how horrid it was is what made me begin to cry. And I think that makes better sense to understand that it is referring to nuntium. Illis sine pecunia rex cibum dedit. Illis, you'll notice, is in the dative or ablative plural. No other noun in that sentence is in the dative or ablative plural, and that's how I know that it is being used as a pronoun. In the absence of context, I can simply interpret the ending to mean people, because it is both masculine and feminine. And again, without context, I don't know if I'm talking about men or women, so I could just say people, which might mean both. The sentence says that the king gave food to those, I could say people if I wanted to those without money. By saying to those, I sort of understand that I mean people because, animals or something else, trees and flowers, they're not going to have money, but people are. And so that's why I don't necessarily have to put the word people in the sentence. Look at this fourth example. Haec de lingua latina nobis magister docebit. Haec. Hic, haec, hoc. It could be feminine and nominative and singular, but I have nothing else in my sentence that is feminine, nominative, and singular. Lingua is feminine, but because it comes after de, it's in the ablative case, so therefore it can't be described by haec. So where else does haec occur? He, hi, haec. It's neuter, plural, nominative, or accusative. I know it's not my subject because I see magister, which has to be the subject. And it is plural, while my verb, docebit, is singular, so it can't be the subject. This means it is the direct object of the sentence. This is a very popular use of the neuter, accusative, plural. These things. Where does the things come from? The fact that this is a neuter pronoun. The sentence, when we put it all together, says, the teacher, magister docebit, will teach nobis us, haec, these things about the Latin language. A very popular use of haec is to translate it as these things. Roman authors love to do that. Let's see if you can figure out what that man would look like using only a demonstrative to translate that phrase into Latin. Did you decide that it should be illum? Because illum, illa, illud, and its forms mean that. It's masculine because of man, and it has to be accusative and singular because it is the direct object of the sentence. I'm going to give you an opportunity to try answering more of those types of questions in the section that follows this instruction.